Hey everybody, Max Massa here, back with Marvel Heroes, and by request we got the legendary items on the chopping block. And so I got some notes here and everything. I think we're good to go. And I think we'll just start from the top of the legendary item vendor and to the bottom of the legendary item vendor. And it should be pretty easy. Some of these are basically designed to be for anyone, any build. Some are designed for specific characters, and one I think is really just designed for one character. And then the ones designed for specific character or character types or character builds, I'll go over what builds and what characters kind of fit those roles. And then obviously I may not hit all of them, but you know, I should cover a good chunk of them anyways. So starting with the Ultimate Nullifier. This is basically for a very high crit chance character with very high brutal strike chance. I would say bare minimal of 40% crit chance with 20% brutal strike chance before you even think about trying to use this one. As you can see, what it does is it's 2,000 brutal strike damage every rank for the first 4 ranks, and then a nice little proc at 200,000 damage, 1% chance on that. With a 2-second cooldown. I don't know why they hedged it, but they hedged it thinking that it was going to be uber. You could get 200,000 crits or 200,000 hit damages within 2 seconds on a 1 second or 1% chance. That's just kind of crazy, but anyway, they did it. So on that basis there, that's basically every 10th hit will be a brutal strike. So you know that's not going to be all too frequent. And the average character would probably see a brutal strike every 15 to 20 hits, if not more. So it's really not designed for that. It could be designed for fun factor, maybe a secondary legendary, so you can just run around and watch a big hit every now and then. Absolutely. I don't suggest it as a primary legendary unless you can really fulfill that crit roll. And then you're really sacking damage everywhere just to get that kind of crit without a legendary. So that's really the role of it. 50% crit, 25% brutal strike chance would really be where you're looking to aim for, if not higher, on the brutal strike chance. So moving down the line, we got Excalibur. We got rank 1 and 3 on Excalibur. That's 500 melee damage rating. Very nice, plus 1,000 defense, and then 500 crit rating. Note the crit rating is not defined by melee power. The damage rating is, but the crit is not, so that is very nice. That can help many roles that are going to take this, use some extra powers on that. And then 200 health on hit. It was 50 health on hit before, and then they revised it to 200. Not sure on that revision if they put an internal cooldown on that health on hit or not. The 50 was not. 200 would make it even more insane. That's pretty nice. Obviously geared towards a melee type character. Captain America, Daredevil, Gambit, Hulk, Luke Cage, Moon Knight, Spider-Man, Thing, Wolverine. Really have good strong builds that would take use of this. And then you have people like Cyclops. I throw it in there just for one idiot on social that loves melee clops. Deadpool, Ms. Marvel, Nightcrawler, even Squirrel Girl, Taskmaster, they can all benefit from it. Whether or not they would exploit it to its fullest is a different story. Like Squirrel Girl would probably benefit something else, but she does have melee lines. Moving down, we got Gugner. This is for any character that cannot fit into a defined role legendary. This will fit any character, any build, because it's basically crit. If you look, you got 400 crit rating on ranks 1 and 3, and then 1,000 critical rating on ranks 2 and 4, and then a chance to get some extra brutal strike rating for 5 seconds on hit. So why there's a 20% or 20-second cooldown on that, I don't know, but I guess 1,000 brutal strike rating is overpowered in their mind. So like I said, anybody that has trouble fitting into one, like say Ms. Marvel, some of her builds are physical, melee, ranged, energy, area effect. So it's really hard to crisscross. This would fit in very nicely for those type of builds. Moving on down, we got Casket of Ancient Winters. This is for AoE characters, especially those that have slow on a skill. The ones that can slow themselves. If you look, it has 500 damage rating with area powers on rank 1 and 3. Rank 2 has a 10% chance to slow the target for 5 seconds when you hit. And to me, for a rank of a legendary, that's really low. It should be like 25% minimal. And then that's still kind of low, I think. I mean, it's a legendary, for Christ's sakes. Should be some damage on there, something. And then rank 5, Snowstorm, 5% chance when you hit to summon a deadly snowstorm, doing 50,000 energy damage over 10 seconds. Kind of weak damage, and it doesn't actually say if it slows them or not. That'd be nice if it did that too. It has a 5-second cooldown, so it kind of goes off. I would think maybe 50,000 damage every second over 10 seconds would be more of a proc, but they do what they do. People who fit this build real well are like Cable, Jean Grey, Loki, Punisher, yes, Punisher, and Storm. Punisher's chemical mine slows. Most people do take it. People who can use it and make it work are people like Emma Frost, Invisible Woman, Iron Man, and he actually has a build that really exploits this very well. I have yet to show that build. I really got to do it. Rocket Raccoon can. It's not suggested, but he can. Scarlet Witch, not so much. She doesn't really have that snare, but she can use it. Spider-Man, Squirrel Girl, and Taskmaster, but some of them really don't benefit out of it so well. You'd have to use some gear to pick up some slow on hits, and you can get up to 30 to 40% chance to slow on hits. So with a casket, so that can get pretty high. Some of those characters really just can't exploit it as well. The Norn Stones, these confuse a lot of people. These are for any physical damage character that does not fit into a defined role legendary. So these are yet again one of those that can just go across some boundaries, not as well as Gungnir, because this is +1 strength, +1 fighting, +1 durability, +1 speed, and +2 to rank of all powers. At +2 to current rank of all powers, there's a big chunk of damage, as well as the +1 to fighting. That would be +4% physical damage. Strength. And then fighting is +3% to all powers. So if you do a physical-based character, you're looking at 7% damage rating there, and then plus a big chunk off +2 to all your powers. And then you got the durability and the speed. So you really have to have a character that can exploit those stats very well, at least strength, fighting, and speed, and then the durability pays off and just a little bit extra survivability, of course. Cosmic Control Rod. This is obviously based for energy type characters. Rank 1 and 3 is 600 damage rating on energy attacks. Rank 1 is 600 damage rating on energy attacks, and rank 3 is 600 crit rating for energy attacks. Rank 2 is 500 health on enemy defeat, and then rank 4 is 25 spirit on enemy defeat. And then rank 5 is +2 to the energy stat, which will give you another 8% energy damage, or you can put it on a mental character. I don't suggest it, but you get 8% damage there as well. So people that can really use this are people like Black Panther that aren't going melee, Cyclops, Human Torch, Invisible Woman, Storm really use it well. Certain Gambit builds, certain Iron Man builds, certain Jean Grey builds, and certain Ms. Marvel builds all can exploit it very well also. Cosmic Control Rod, there it is. So, unfortunately, the rank 2 and rank 4, I think, are very, very weak. They should never have kept those. They should have rethought those entirely. On defeat sucks, on hit would have been so much better. Obviously not in such high amounts, but they should have at least done that kind of change around or something entirely different. Moving on, we're going to the McCran Crystal. This one's one of those strange ones. Personally, I think it's invented simply for Iron Man. It's plus rank 1 and 3 is plus 100 spirit. Rank 2 is plus 1,000 health. Rank 4 is plus crit rating equal to half your spirit, activated on power use. Essentially what that means is the crit rating happens as soon as you use a power on your character. Just like Iron Man's reactor doesn't actually put the effect of its damage rating on until you use an ability. Until you use an ability with the McCran Crystal on, it won't give you that crit rating. And then rank 5 has a 10% chance when you hit to deal energy damage equal to 100 times your total spirit pool to surrounding enemies. Iron Man is really the only one that I've seen people do some serious spirit builds on based on his reactor passive, which isn't necessarily. I've done some of the same builds that are very spirit intensive without going spirit heavy, basically because you can get the same damage, if not more, out of not going for spirit. But I'll go over that when I do Iron Man. So moving on, the Warlock's Eye, highly designed for mental based characters, mental damage. Rank 1 and 3 is plus 500 damage rating and mental attacks. Rank 2 is plus 50 spirit. It's kind of a crud rank. Rank 4, though, is plus 500 crit rating for mental powers. Then rank 5 is a 5% chance when you hit to physically assault enemies surrounding you with 50,000 mental damage over 5 seconds on a 5-second cooldown. Apparently that 50,000 damage is kind of overrated or overpowered, so it's got to have a hedge of 5-second cooldown. However, that is a big chunk of crit rating with damage. As you can see, it's almost as much as Gugner, and the damage will outweigh the damage rating on Gugner as well. So if you have a Cable, Doctor Strange, Emma Frost, Loki, or Scarlet Witch, this is probably the ideal legendary for you. The Shield of Perseus. This is going to be for someone who wants to tank and really seriously tank, and someone who's in melee ranged. So it's got 2,000 defense, 2,000 health, a 10% chance to reflect projectiles, 5% chance when attacked to block the damage completely. That's pretty awesome right there. And rank 10, a 10% chance when you're attacked by an enemy, you'll deal 20,000 physical damage to surrounding enemies, and they'll be turned to stone and will take 10% more damage for 5 seconds on a 5-second cooldown. With a 10% chance, I can see why that has a 5-second cooldown hedge, so that makes sense. It's actually pretty awesome if you're planning on seriously tanking. Serious tanks are people like Colossus, Emma Frost, Hulk, Iron Man, Miss Marvel, Moon Knight, Thing, and even Daredevil can use it. I mean, if you're feeling squishy as Daredevil, throw this on. You probably won't feel as squishy. But I don't consider him a serious tank. The other ones can actually go with builds that will be serious tanks or semi-serious tanks and have taunts and everything. But Daredevil Gambits, if you're feeling squishy and you're dying a lot, this ranked out would be a lot of survivability. Although, you know, obviously if you're going to be melee, I would suggest the Excalibur, but, you know, that's going to be preference. Moving on, we got Neptune's Trident. This is going to be the pet class's favorite. Rank 1 is plus 50% summoned ally health. Rank 2, plus 50% extra damage dealt by summoned allies. Rank 3, this is new, 500 damage rating and 500 crit rating. That is awesome. Not only are you getting damage rating and crit rating, but your pets get that crit rating as well. Rank 4, 5% chance on hit to fire Mystic Beams, dealing 50,000 damage to enemies and healing allies for 5,000 health. That's on a 3-second cooldown. That's a pretty awesome ability right there. All those other abilities should be something like this, not like what they are. And then rank 5, 5% chance when you hit to create a deadly tsunami that does 50,000 energy damage over 10 seconds and making enemies take 10% extra damage. 5-second cooldown. So that'd be interesting to see a lot of tsunamis out there. Very, very, very strong pet class legendary. Ones that are going to use it very, very well. Rocket Raccoon's going to exploit it to its fullest. And then Colossus, Loki, and Squirrel Girl all have builds that could use it. Although, obviously, Squirrel Girl won't benefit from a couple of those features. Moving on down, we got the Golden Bow of Apollo. This is a ranged attack speed type's favorite type of weapon. It's got 600 damage rating with range powers, 10% attack speed, 10% chance to hit to create an explosion of magma at your target for 6,000 energy damage, 600 crit rating for range powers, and then a 10% chance when you hit to set the ground ablaze for 6 seconds, dealing 200,000 energy damage. That's pretty awesome. On a 20-second cooldown. That needs a hedge, obviously. So with the attack speed, with the range damage, obviously it's got to be a really specific build designed for it. Right now, the only build I really like for Black Widow really works well with this, actually. Hawkeye can use it very well. People who have builds that can exploit it are Cable, Cyclops, even Deadpool, some Gambits, Human Torch, maybe. Invisible Woman, maybe. Iron Man, Loki, Miss Marvel, Spider-Man, and Taskmaster all have skills that could really focus on some of the aspects of this and exploit them. Especially the ones that have the skills that are like Black Widow's Stinging Barrage, where it just gets faster and faster, as you pointed out, and then you throw some attack speed on it with some damage and everything. You can really exploit a golden bow. And then finally, we got the Savage Axe of Ares. This has got some pretty big numbers on it. 800 damage rating on physical attacks, 400 crit rating, 800 brutal strike damage rating, 400 brutal strike rating, and an 8% chance on hit to leave the enemy savagely wounded, dealing 80,000 physical damage over 4 seconds on an 8-second cooldown. So, you know, that's got a big chance, so that's got to get hedged. You can definitely get that to go off faster than 8 seconds. Although, I don't know why they just don't make it once every 8 seconds. Well, that's what they're going to do. So this is for physical damage types, especially ones with a decent crit base already. That's a big chunk of brutal strike damage rating. Unfortunate they used brutal strike damage rating instead of crit damage rating, or even just another physical damage rating or something. The reason I say that is, you know, you got to get that brutal on there to get benefit of that rank 3. 400 brute strike rating is not a lot. 400 crit rating is a good chunk. But you really, you know, if your brutal strikes are 1 every 25 hits, that rank 3 is not really paying out for you. So people who can use this: Captain America, Colossus, Daredevil, Deadpool, Hulk, Luke Cage, Moon Knight, Nightcrawler, Punisher, Spider-Man, Squirrel Girl, Taskmaster, Thing, Wolverine, even a melee Black Panther, and Iron Man, and Emma Frost. They can have builds that actually use this as well. It's nice. It's interesting that they threw it out there. I don't like the brutal strike dependency. I would wish they stayed with a crit dependency, like 400 crit rating and 400 crit rating. But then it would have been a Gungner with physical damage, and that's probably why they didn't do it, because basically it's still a Gungner with physical damage rating. But it's got a neat picture, and it's definitely a new legendary that they put out there. So that's all the legendaries, and that's how I see them anyways. So I hope it helps. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will talk to everybody real soon.